with glam effect in terms of the makeup and the nails and the hair, right? And how you present yourself and how you carry about yourself in terms of your beauty and your style. So at this time, we have a special young lady that is going to present to us this afternoon. We'll just wait for her to join the room. Okay, so excellent, good. So she's in. And welcome, Marlene Williams. Are you hearing me clearly?
Hi, I am. Good afternoon, everyone.
It's a pleasure to have you this afternoon to present to our students. So Marlene is the proud owner of Marl's, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, Marl's Boutique.
No.
Okay, correct me.
Beautique. Marl's Beautique.
Beauty. Okay, so you're hearing the style and the flair there already, right?
Yes, it's a beauty salon, boutique. Yeah.
Right. So we are going to be interviewing her this afternoon, and students, if it is you look in the chat, you would see, please ask questions. So any questions that you may have for her, you could just type it to that person, and I will ask your questions or ask the questions on your behalf. So I know that given everything that you have a passion for, I would say, beauty and flair. So as you present our students this afternoon, why did you get into this particular career? Or why did you get into the cosmetology sector?
Well, good afternoon, everyone, by the way. I got into this kind of late in my life, believe it or not. My first career, my associate degree is in culinary management. So I studied at hotel school. And as time went along, I was a white tap teacher, teaching hotels, cooking, looking forward to getting to be a teacher because I like teaching. And I wasn't getting any jobs. And my mother always said, if nobody wants to hire you, hire yourself. So I used to get my nails done a lot back then. And so that's how I always had a love for the industry. So I started just playing around with stuff, and then I realized that, you know what, I think I'm gonna give this a try to see if I'm good at it. Because unlike most young people now, they probably braiding hair and doing nails when they're 15, 16. Me, I was already an adult, married, and now starting this career, which I would say late in my life. So that's how I got in it. I just tried it and it worked.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So as you said, it's not that you have to, it's not a career or profession that you necessarily have to get into early. You could get into it later on in life. And so
yes, one of my clients just started and she's actually now heading in her 50s.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So given everything in terms of that you would have started later down in your life, what was your journey like in terms of learning about hair and nails and in terms of the beauty or the cosmetology industry? And what are some of the institutions that you would have trained at?
Okay, well, when I started, I did a little crash course, not for a lot of money, because I wanted to see if I could do it. I wasn't looking for the best at the moment because, you know, I say next thing I pay all this money and this is not for me. So I was trying it out first. And I'm a person who believes in getting the best in education because it's education what is in this field I noticed because of course I have friends now in the business. And I realized those who didn't go to good schools teaching good education are not the best at the trade because the science behind everything what we do is science. So I chose schools that taught me science. So I studied, all my studies were international. I did my nail course, I did that in 2008. So it's about 14 years now I'm doing nails. That was in North Carolina at Henderson Nail Academy. That was a 2-month full-time program. So for those of you sometimes in learning, don't just think here, meaning here as in Trinidad, you could go out, just how people go and study to get a degree. Take this career serious enough to go out and study like that. So 2 months full-time, 8 to 4, 5 days a week, wasn't that expensive back then. And because I would have been keeping with the standards of the US State Board requirements, so I am skilled, I understand the science behind it, the chemicals, the everything that I'm dealing with. So that makes me, when I'm working, I think about what it is I'm doing. So I'm not just putting acrylic on a nail. I'm not just cutting and filing a nail. I'm not just cutting a toenail. I'm not just doing those things. I know why I'm doing what I'm doing. Then I moved on in, I get bored sometimes, since you can see. So I started doing cosmetology back in what year that was? That's 10 years ago. There was a 2012, there was a school in Trinidad, an international recognized school, which unfortunately they closed down. They were gate approved, Pivot Point Academy International. They are one of the top schools when it comes to cosmetology in the world. They are all over the world. My educators came from Germany, China, Korea. That's the type of educators I had. And it was an international based course. Every single thing was like if I was in America, right here in Trinidad, we got that. The school only remained open for about 3 years and then it closed. So I was thankful to be a part of it, to get that education. So I'm very much educated. And what I like with being international, which I like to say to the younger people, you never know where you're going to end up in life. That was my reason for studying international. You don't know who your husband might be or who your wife might be, because right now my sister works in China. So you never know, you might marry someone who works in another country and you will get a work permit too. But because you are internationally certified, you can work anywhere in the world.
Excellent, excellent. And I'm hearing in terms of the passion coming out, and also you're telling our young people, it's not just ultimately we would see, as you said earlier on, now they're getting into it, they have a feel for it at 15, 16 years old, right? So it's not just to say, okay, you're learning at home. Yes, it has the that part of the journey, but it also calls for a certain level of discipline and in terms of seriousness and drive. So I hear that coming up. Also the educational part of it. So it's not just don't take your studies seriously and just say, I'm going to be a hairdresser, I'm going to be a nail tech. There's also the science aspect behind it, which if it is you want to be the best in that field, which I'm also getting from you as well, that you want to be the best, and probably you are one of the best in
Yeah, I'm a little quiet. I'm very, very quiet, quiet one in the field, but to the customers that I deal with, they consider me. I mostly work with I'm strict with appointments. So I more work with people who respects time and considers time, run away from the office, managers of banks, and that's my kind of clientele. People who just come in, do what they have to do and leave.
So that, and it takes a certain standard to attract that
yes
client.
Yes, that kind of, because it's a different type of client that I service.
In terms of your service and your passion in this particular field. So given the now where it comes to you said you have been in it for 14 years, and over that a number of things would have changed. Your experience in the field, what advice would you give to some of our students who really wanted to enter the cosmetology industry seriously? Do you know of some schools that they could attend, whether it be in Trinidad, or schools you may want to recommend, international schools that you may want to recommend for them?
Okay. There are so many schools down here that are offering these programs. What I will say is do your research. make sure and go and tour the schools, see, look at the sanitation. That is like key for me, sanitation. Because in Trinidad, because I studied internationally, the difference between Trinidad and abroad is that we don't have any boards or anything like that to make sure that we do things in a certain way. So you may go to a place, I'm sure you all have been to salons where you look at it and it's not even really looking hygienic, you know? So I have visited schools that when I was getting interested in it, that was not looking hygienic. So, you know, stuff like that, you make sure that the school is recognized, ask them if they are accredited, what type of certificate you're going to get. Where did they learn from? Because a lot of people doing this YouTube hairdressers and nail techs, and they're good at it. I'm not going to be on them. They are good at their trade. But if you want to understand theory, because everything is not practical. Practical is not the job. You could do something, but if you don't understand why you are doing it, you are not going to be good at it. So, you know, you look for that type of schools. I am not sure by name, so of schools in Trinidad. I know internationally, every state have different schools. So you Google, you may have family outside. The full-time cosmetology program out there is 1 year. So same like how everyone applies to a school and they get accepted, you could take your stuff to the embassy down here and let them know that you applied to go on to study. And sometimes, you know, you may have a parent who is willing and will say, well, I will give you your first degree or your first thing. And if this is your career path, plead with your parents and show them how serious you are to invest in this, because it's a good field. Everyone is not cut out to be in an office somewhere, a doctor or a lawyer. So just look for good reputable schools. Do some research on these schools before you go in.
Okay, and when you applying to these schools, what are they looking for? I know some people in the field, they may have to do a portfolio. What academic qualifications do they ask for?
Absolutely nothing, because you're going in as a new person to the field, yeah. So they don't want anything. I mean, most times they just make sure that could you read and understand English. That's what they ask you.
Okay, and what's the when I know I mean to say 14 or 12 years ago, what was the cost like in terms of paying for the programs that you would have done?
Right. 14 years ago in North Carolina, which the price shouldn't change that much, it was like $1,500 US, so that was close to $10,000 TT that I paid to do my full-time course. But when you got there, every single thing was supplied to you. You didn't need anything. You needed, you're going to school. You have to make a certain amount of hours to graduate. And my sister was living there at the moment, so I stayed with her, which the school was close by. In 2012, at the school that was here in Trinidad was 70,000 TT to attend this school. This school was GATE approved, so GATE covered 25,000. Due to our dear Trinidadians, that's why the school closed down. People did not pay the school rest of money, so the school had to close. But when you got there, all I was required to take with me was I had to buy a black pants and a black shoe, and everything else they gave to you. I still today using the tools that they gave me. I got a whole suitcase full of tools, and everything was brand name tools, and I still have them till today. So that it was worth every penny, all my books, everything. So it was exceptional. They said our school was the only school that was a replica of the head school, which is in Chicago. So that school is Pivot Point Academy. In Chicago is the head school. That was our school. They said just how the school was laid out and everything was in Port of Spain. So I was in San Fernando. So I took the water taxi up every day to go to school. And I still had my business, my nail salon. So I only used to work on a Saturday.
So at this time, I'm going to give our students the opportunity to ask any questions. that they may want to ask at this time. So remember, students, you're sending it in the chat. You're clicking on, you're going to the chat. You're clicking on please ask questions, sorry. And I would ask the questions on your behalf. So you're gonna wait for the questions to come in. Okay, so as we wait for the questions to come in, what would you say to persons or students that would like to come into this field? What advice would you give to them?
I would say just be sure. This is, I mean, sometimes we start things because, as I said, I study culinary at first. But kind of be sure, because that sometimes I wouldn't call it really a regret, but I kind of look back at way if I had gotten to this at 18, you know how good I would have been by now, because even though I'm in it 14 years, I'm still learning every single day. Every day is new stuff. My girlfriend in the business, we like to laugh and say, we ain't doing that. For them young nail tech them. We too old for that. It's 14 years we doing this. I just want you out my chair. You know? So because there's so much on every day is new technology. So the advice I'll say is look, YouTube. Once you have the basic foundation of any education, whether you stay in this field or you do something else, you could, once you understand the theory, because when I look at videos, I understand exactly what is happening because I have the knowledge. So, you know, do your research like that, keep following up, keeping up with everything, follow the right pages, the companies that own the different lines of products, you will get information from there. But another major thing that I told myself today, I want to make sure I leave this with the students. You see your finances. If you don't know how to manage money in this business, you're not gonna be able to do anything much. In respect, I will say that because I have been through a lot of challenges where first I started when I work, I will put my money into my personal bank account. And that is a no in being self-employed. Make sure that your business is registered. Make sure you go and open a business account. Make sure you go to the Board of Inland Revenue and put your registration in there, because times are changing now. I think if only forget everything else I say, try and don't forget this, because you see, like if you're self-employed, no, this is a passion I have right now. I talk to so many people, and when I ask, I want to buy a car, you can't buy no car because why? They want to see that you are getting paid. The business has an account and your person, you have your salary coming in one account. So I had to kind of do over my whole business a couple of years ago and separate my funds and show my salary. So now I could go to my credit union and get a loan. I could do stuff, because everything before I was doing, they keep saying, your husband can come and sign, and you get my real vex day. So, you know, so I want you all to make sure that you get an understanding of how to manage money. And there are some days where you are busy, and you make a lot of money. And then the next day, crickets. Nobody. And today I lie down whole day, no. I ain't do nothing today, no. Right? That's how the business is. But don't always remember to that guy's part of the business. After a while, you will understand the business and you wouldn't be fearful and be like, I ain't gonna. That's how I was in the first year too. Like, there's nobody today. Oh my God. Oh my God. No. After a while, you pass your results. Oh, today's a slow day. Or this month was slow. But in the midst of that, you have to learn to manage your finances, because how am I going to pay my bills? The bills still coming. If I spend all the $2,000 that I may have made weekend, I spend that out. So, you know, money management is major in this.
And you kind of answered one of the questions. A student asked, what does a day in the profession look like?
A day, well, as I said, today was a sleeping day, yeah. But I operate different, but I have been through a lot so I could see how it was from all the difference. When I first started, the first 6 months, I worked on High Street in San Fernando. I rented a station, a boot rental. anyway between $200 to $400 to $600, depending on the type of place you're in. A week, you pay a week. So I started off there. People were just walking because you go to work every day, you just sit around and you wait and nobody walking. You come the next day and you know you're busy, the place just full with people. Then I moved on and I opened my first, just after the 6 months or so, my first salon. It was very small, just doing nails alone. And that's why I started off with appointments, because my background in the profession was I started off as a customer. So I understand what it is to say, I am going to do my nails. I leave home 7:30 in the morning to reach down there about 8. The person is coming for 9. And when I get there, 2 other people were standing there before me. So you are there all day doing your nails. And I was like, I don't like this. I have to figure out how to work by appointment. So I started off with appointments. And it was that?
I said I've experienced that.
Yes. Everybody have experienced that. You're waiting all day, or you go to do your hair. And when you go to do your hair, they wash everybody here. So everybody's sitting on like a wet towel, so you can't leave. Your hair wet. Guys go and walk out. You go and sit down and wait. And they have you waiting there 5-6 hours. When the way I work now, you are in and out in 2 hours. Depending on what you come to do, 1 hour. So I work by appointment. So I took my time and I learned. I started timing myself and okay. Now, when you have an idea of how long it takes you to do things, it's easier to book the appointments. And you could also now know what I'm worth. I will say, I don't work for anything less than $100 in an hour. If I'm making $100, I'm not doing it. That's how I operate. That was the thing. I think I've surpassed that now. I'm doing a little better now an hour. So, you know, I give that idea how to price, you know. So you're more relaxed, because in a day when you're in those walking places, sometimes you're hungry and you see eating. But if I book my appointment, I know when it's lunchtime. So when it's lunchtime, I book that time and you go take your break and you come back. It all depends on what different things work for different people, because I have friends who this system does not work for them. But me, I am a type of organized person. This system works for me. We do each other's hair and stuff for free. And I tell them come for 9 and they turn up by me 10 and they see me angry. What is your problem? Because when I tell you 9 o'clock, it's 9 o'clock. Right? So it works different for everyone, where some might like that, where they just come to work and they finish work 2 o'clock in the morning. My friend will message me, girl, I work till 2 o'clock. I'll be like, good for you, sleeping. Right? So, you know, or you could have those who you're more weekends. There are some weekends when I have bills to pay, right? We're just talking normal. Everybody gets in because I need that money. So, you know, I make it work. So it's good, but mostly because I'm now doing both hair and nails, I have to kind of like sometimes you'll get one customer doing everything. So you really need time management, is to work out the system in your head. You're gonna say, okay, so she needs a color. So I'll put the color in her hair, then I will go on and start the nails, or I'll do the pedicure first, and then I will go on to, you know, do this other thing, because you have to sit down and think through. So even when a customer is coming to you and they call up all the stuff that they want, before I reach in there, I sit and I think what you're going to do and how you're going to do this. How long is this going to take? And you don't just start one thing, because you'll go slower, waste a lot of time and make less money.
Excellent. Because there's so much. Our time is up, unfortunately, and there is so much. So at some point in time, we would have to invite you back to give any knowledge over of time management, money management. So that is a major part, because it's not just you're not working for someone, it's you have your whole business. So on behalf of the Ministry of Education Student Support Services Division, I would like to thank you for availing yourself to share your wealth of knowledge. And I know you have so much more to share, your wealth of knowledge with our students this afternoon. So
Thank you so much for having me.
so take care, and
All right.
contact with you soon.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, bye for now. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
You too. Bye.
Bye.